We're gonna have to play some games, but we'll make it look great.
How hard would it be to get a camera on the inside of this box screen?
We want to do it.
Okay, good.
Welcome back. I got a quick one for today. Saw Billie Eilish hit me hard and soft, the tour live over the weekend. This is the latest documentary concert film. And as someone who's been a musician for many years, I enjoy learning about the behind the scenes of how movies are made, how concerts are put on. I know there was the Taylor Swift Eras Tour, which was primarily a concert film, and then there was a subsequent end of an era behind the scenes tour, which talked about more how that tour came about, how they did all the production, how they planned it and changed it over time. And that was a really good documentary. It allowed you to see how Taylor acted with all her musicians, backup dancers, and people in the crew. And I'm sure it's sanitized for public viewing, but I found that documentary really interesting. I actually liked it more than the Eras Tour, which me and my wife watched, but we pretty much fast forwarded it through all the songs we didn't really care for, especially some of her country stuff. So when I saw the trailer for this, I don't know, maybe into last year, I was like, oh, that could be kind of cool. There's a few songs of Billie Eilish's that I like. I'm not super familiar with a lot of her non-hit music. And this was supposed to be more of a documentary concert film, or more of a concert film with some documentarial footage. Is that a word? I don't know. Okay, so this film was primarily focused on the dates that the show happened to be in Manchester at the Co-op Live. I think that's what it's called. Even though they do have a few scenes within Canada, it appears, because they show a Canadian flag for some reason. And then there's James Cameron being involved with this as a co-director with Billie Eilish. I think he's just more there to provide the technical insights and really do the 3D aspect of the film. And this is also the first tour that Billie went out on without Phineas being there every day. And for the most part, this is a concert film. There's a little bit behind the scenes that they cover, mainly like how she moves around under the stage, gets to the stage. There's a few short scenes that talk about the production. You see Billie talking to some of the lighting and stage crew to determine how the lights are going to function throughout the set. And then there's a few scenes where James Cameron is handholding the camera behind the scenes, doing a couple short interview segments. One of them talking about her feelings about Phineas, also another one about kind of how she has been perceived, especially with her looks and presenting with the clothing that she uses during her tours and most every day. So there's a few interesting things there, but they don't really dive in anything too deep and nothing that anybody hasn't already known. The concert aspect is fine. It's a performance movie. In regards to the spectacle that you would expect from a stage show, I don't think it actually has a lot there. There is this giant cube that she'll occasionally go in and out of. You have some pillars that come up and down depending on what song is playing. And some of the camera work was a little interesting in what they chose to include for this edit, because there's a few scenes where she picks up a handheld camera and is getting pictures of the audience and herself, but they actually show her picking it up and pulling it up towards her, and I don't know, it just felt a little clumsy, a little awkward for James Cameron being involved in something like this. The stage is very stripped down. It's basically a figure eight, but in a square shape. And then each section of both sides is where backup band is and singers are. There's some scenes where she goes in and out of that section. But for the most part, yeah, it is just the concert film. Not a really deep dive into the production of the tour or insights on how she put the tour together, working with these musicians or anything about the musicians that are joining her. So it's pretty light on that. If you're a big Billie Eilish fan, you'll probably find something here to enjoy. But as someone who is just kind of, there's a few songs I like, and I'm more into the kind of behind the scenes aspect of these types of concert films and how they went together, and more learning about the artists themselves and how they think about putting on these performances. There wasn't really a lot to learn from that aspect. So I would say this movie is primarily for the fans. If you are going to see it, I would recommend maybe watching it in 3D. It's probably way better in 3D because that's what it was designed for. And if James Cameron's involved, the 3D is probably actually really good, because the last great 3D movie I saw was that first Avatar film. I have yet to see anything that's really been better than the Avatar films in the big screen. Not that I watch 3D movies all too often, but overall I'd give Billie Eilish Hit Me Hard and Soft, the tour live, 3 stars.